Yo, this is Real Talk A. Welcome to the Locker Room. We talk nothing but basketball. Now, I know you guys, we didn't have any games last night, and you are probably like, oh, what the hell's you doing? But I'm not going to lie to you. There's something to talk about. First things first, let's talk about the Stephen A. JJ Redick situation. Now, we all have heard about LeBron James, hinting to the fact that he might retire soon, da 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 da, which, again, by the way, is like the Tom Brady thing. Tom Brady was saying, I'm going to retire at this point. I'm going to retire this season. This is going to be my last season. Yeah, he's going to do that every single year now. Just something that players do once they get old and they're really, really great. And they're scared to really watch themselves, fall off and watch themselves, slowly become unplayable. That's just something that they say time after time after time again, right? So always take that with a grain of salt. Now, on top of that, so we had Stephen A. JJ Redick, and I forgot his last. Not even that I forgot. I don't know how to pronounce it. Brian Windhorst, or Ryan Windhorst, something like that. They went on first take. The regular thing. You know what they usually do. Stephen A. JJ Redick, and sometimes they have another co-host on the show, and they're there. They're talking about the games. They're talking about the NBA. They're talking about everything, and this segment right here became a mess. Like I'm talking like, bro. So Molly asked the question. She brings up the interview that LeBron had, and she reads a couple of things that pop up on the screen and things of that nature, and they start talking about it. So JJ Redick goes first, and he's giving his opinion. He's like, as a player, you're gonna hear this a lot from him. It's just like he's getting old. It happens. It is what it is. Every time that a season ends, every time something happens, every time like you have a long season, you just like, I don't know if I could go one more year. Like I genuinely don't know. And usually you take a break, you come back, after vacation, you go through practice, you kick it with your teammates, you kick it with your guys and stuff like that. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to go back and play one more year. And also, you got to understand that JJ Redick didn't say this part right here, but I'm going to say it. For players to leave a locker room is really hard because that's literally all they know their entire life. Like, the locker room is a really big part of their life. Because they get to say whatever they want, do whatever they want, live however they want, you know, just build their relationship with their guys however they want in the locker room. And so that's why, I mean, personally, I didn't take this serious, but I understand why this is going to be a really hard transition for not only LeBron, but for a lot of players. Retirement is really hard to do. And JJ Redick was basically saying, like, as a player, just like very complicated. You're constantly playing this mental game with yourself and with life, especially with a player of LeBron's magnitude who's so high up that anything can happen at any given moment. Like you're just like the defensive like target for every team. Like they want to guard you, make sure they lock you up, make sure you can't do anything offensively or playmaking or anything like that, scoring wise, none of that, right? So it's gonna take a lot more mileage on his body from here on. What he was taking mileage wise, pause, in the first year or two of his career, right now it's like is multiplied by 20. Every single mile he takes on his body is really like he's taking 10, 15 miles on his body. He's older now, right? And so Stephen A comes out in the way, it's time for one of them to go after him and reply to what JJ Redick said and also give their opinion. And Stephen A is like saying, yo, I'm not like Brian Windhorst, you could go first. And I'm not gonna lie, I heard what JJ Redick said, I listened to it, but I don't understand it. I don't know how this became a situation where they started going back and forth, but I guess JJ Redick took offense to that, and he came back at him like, "Well, you didn't play those 3 games you played at whatever college Stephen A went to. He's like those were nothing." And Stephen A then he not gonna shut up. He gonna have his response, and he was like, "Well, I got my degree and I'm here with you on live television, so clearly I'm doing something right." For me, and then JJ Redick has the response of, well, yeah, you definitely doing something is right. And in Stephen A. fashion, he gonna respond with, "You damn right, you damn right." And the crazy thing is, bro, when you like saw this, you like it was so out of nowhere, like it was so like left field, like it was just so something like you was like blinded by it. And the reason why it's crazy to me is because it looked like there was a heated situation before this. Like there was a heated situation either behind the scenes, or this is something that's been building up on First Take between Stephen A. JJ Redick, or there's like something going on. Because honestly, bro, you don't like this does not just happen out of nowhere just because he said, I listened to what he said, I just don't understand it, I don't get it. There has to be something behind the scenes, or just like probably had a couple of heated debates that day, and JJ Redick just, he started, just burning on the inside. He just had to something to say. He just had to let it all out. And, he still had to find a way to keep it respectful, because we saw what happened last time when him and Mad Dog went at each other. And, although it was, to me, not that big of a deal as a debate show, that one felt like it was strictly hot because of a debate. This one felt like it was so out of nowhere. So it's like, what really happened behind the scenes? Or did they just have a couple of heated debates, throughout the show? Then, obviously Brian Windhorst takes, the mic, and he's basically saying the same thing JJ Redick says, and he's trying to explain also to Stephen A. like, this is what he was trying to say. Which, by the way, what JJ Redick said is not hard to comprehend, understand, or like hear or anything. What JJ Redick said is so obvious. I mean, if you watch basketball, if you watch whatever it is, and any sport, and the athlete comes out and says they're gonna retire, and a journalist or analyst comes out and says what JJ Redick said, honestly, bro, how can you not understand that? It's very understandable. Now, when Stephen A. takes the spot, now he's saying that basically, okay, cool, like, you guys are not wrong, but what I'm trying to say is, he's more saying, like, I'm giving this message out to the Lakers, their fan base, Rob Pelinka, to make moves. We need some change in this locker room. And to be honest with you, like I said before, I feel like that is too harsh on the Lakers. They've done a lot. You're the one that didn't show up. You and Anthony Davis are the ones that didn't show up in the conference finals. You guys had great numbers, but in terms of dominance, in terms of how you got those numbers, you didn't show up. You played exactly into what the Nuggets wanted you to do. So much so that the Nuggets, like, didn't waste any energy on you guys. You guys didn't even make it complicated for them. I mean, they were able to score whenever they wanted, any single player. Like, you guys didn't try to play them, force them to play defense or anything. I mean, every now and then you give the ball to AD, try to make Jokic play defense, but that one time, 2 times a quarter is not going to do anything. He's not going to get tired from that. That's expected. He's literally prepares for that before the game against you guys. He knows it's going to happen. That's what most teams do to Jokic. But not to, get away from the actual point. You feel me? So then JJ Redick comes back. And now this turns from a debate and a talk and a conversation about LeBron's retirement thing to JJ Redick saying LeBron's retirement could be one of the best things to happen for the league. Why? Because then we're able to talk about other guys. We're able to talk about, more individuals in the game and other teams, the other 24 teams that nobody talks about. Because, everybody's going to talk about the Lakers, the Knicks, the Celtics, and like 3 more teams, and that's it. And what he's saying is the NBA, well, he was saying that the analysts and people on TV are not selling the game properly. But I like how Stephen A. responded to him, because he was trying to explain to him, like, we're just going off of what we see. The NBA is not selling their players and their teams properly. That's not our fault. If you build up teams to actually have an image and have a fan base of their own, then we will talk about them. But when we post a video about Jokic and it gets like 10% of the views that we're getting when we post a video about the Lakers or LeBron James or even just the worst player on the Lakers, of course we're going to talk about the Lakers. Now, why so? Because that's what the NBA sold. That's what people want to see. And that's how the NBA has always been. I mean, in the beginning, it was Magic. It was Larry Bird. It was Michael Jordan. It was, so on and so forth. It was always individual players and these big market teams, LA, Knicks, Warriors, like these type of teams. Like we had, Shaq, Kobe, Dwayne Wade. Then we got the LeBrons. I mean, they built up LeBron's career before he even came to the NBA. And when he came to NBA, he took the league and the world, by storm. And I feel like, in a way, he's kind of right. If LeBron James does retire, this could be a whole new wave for the league. Especially that we have a lot of young guys who are super talented. And honestly, they really, can go back and forth and head-to-head with one another. And they're right there with one another. Honestly, if you debate Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, some people, they might not be close. But if you really know how you're debating it, you know what you're saying, you could bring up a lot of points to argue that any one of those guys is better than the other one. You get me? So, in a way, he is right. And then he tried to compare it to NFL. The NFL has become this really big event thing going on, right? It's like, first of all, it's like 16 games going on. Their fans are way more connected to their teams. They show up to like stadiums. Why? Because it's less games. So not only is it easier to sell and promote, it's also, like easier to know that the fans are feeding for that. Because they go like, 9 months? 6 to 9 months without watching their favorite player, and they finally get a chance to watch their favorite player, of course they're going to be in tuned. You just have to find a way to market it to attract even more people. I mean, the Super Bowl alone, that one day, is like bigger than the entire All-Star weekend. The NBA just needs to do better. Analysts, they don't got nothing to do with that. They just speak about what they see. And I feel like that's something that JJ Redick was trying to say, but also I feel like it just came off wrong. And Stephen A explained it good. But I personally feel like even if LeBron retires, okay, we're going to have 2 to 5 years where it's going to be a lot of, oh my God, like the Devin Booker, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, just talking about every single player and every single team. But eventually there's going to be that one guy that comes and takes that spot. And everybody's going to talk about him now. I mean, every single time, is a draft every single year. You know what we say? Oh, this is the new LeBron. Oh, this is the new Jordan. Oh, this is the new Kobe Bryant. Oh, this is the new Kevin Durant. Why? Because we're trying to look for that number one player. We're trying to look for that superstar for us to talk about all the time. Because that's how the league has been created. Please forgive me for saying his last name wrong if I do, but Victor Wembanyama, like, we're all so, invested into this kid's career because we're expecting him to come and take over the league. We've never seen talent like him before. We want him to come and take over the league. And we know that the Spurs are going to get him. So now we're like, oh my God, how is he going to be on the Spurs? Is he going to stay with the Spurs? How is he going to, we're going to analyze everything he does with the San Antonio Spurs. If it's a slow start, we're going to be like, oh my God, it's a slow start. Is he a bust? Is he this? Because we want that guy in the league. We call Zion Williamson the next LeBron James for how many years, bro? And he's not doing nothing. We call Ben Simmons the LeBron a 3-point shot away from LeBron James. And what does he do? Nothing. We're looking for that player for how many years? How many times have we said Brandon Ingram is the next Kevin Durant? Now that is the closest comparison we've had yet. But due to injuries, we haven't been able to really have him play an entire season where we can talk about him and allow him to build up his, superstar status. So not only, it's not the analyst's fault, it's not the entertainer's fault, it's not us reporters and entertainers, it's not our fault. It's the league's fault. The league has to sell it a certain type of way for us to report it a certain type of way. If we have, for example, like right now, right? Kevin Durant went to the Suns. Devin Booker's on the Suns. Chris Paul, Jay Crowder were attracted to the Suns because of Devin Booker. The Suns were starting to build a winning culture. Now they fired Monty Williams. Now let's see what happens next for the Suns. Now if they attract someone else, we're going to be like, oh my God, the Suns got this guy. Now they're going to be more, spoken about. The Warriors, same thing. It is what it is. How the league sells the teams. The league themselves, most of the time, they're marketing the Lakers, the Knicks, the Celtics, the Warriors. They're not marketing the Detroit Pistons, the Houston Rockets, the Blazers. They're not marketing the Minnesota Timberwolves like that. They're not. So you can't blame us. Because the NBA has to promote these guys for the fans to love these guys, for us to talk about these guys. But anyways, yeah, let me know in chatting down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talk with E. It's enough of me rambling and chatting. I'm going to catch you at my heart's safety.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the three.
To win it. Good. That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection.
This is for the win. Got it. Wow.
At 7, working against Butler, got down.